Hello and welcome to another Smaulgld live stream. It is Friday, the 12th of April, 2019, and tonight's topic, Mug Wars, D-Live launch, and trolling. Welcome, Smaulgld mug stackers and game changers. Got a bit of news today, but we're also going to focus a bit on these mug wars that are brewing between Smaulgld and SD Bullion. Also, we're going to talk about D-Live and D-Tube, a new platform that we may potentially migrate towards. And we've got some Fed news, got a decent bit of Moronica and a funny Moronica, and we've got a poll relating to that, and we're going to talk about some trolling as well. So let's get right into the news of the day and check out the prices of gold, silver, equities, and the like. It was a decent day on Wall Street. Dow Jones up 1%. Up 269 points to 26,412. That led the indexes as the Nasdaq was only up about 0.5% to 79.84. S&P 500 a little bit more, up 0.66% to 29.07. But it was the gold and silver markets that were flat. Gold was down, not a lot. Remember yesterday it fell below 1,300, and today it did little to try to regain that level. It reached a high of 12.95, a low of about 12.90, closed around the low of the day, down about 0.16%, and it is closed now. The markets are closed until Friday evening. Sunday evening. It is Friday evening. Silver actually managed to do a little better, but not too good. Not too well. The silver price did not recapture a closing price over $15. It opened just below $15 at $14.95. Did get as high as $15.10 and then came back to reality and closed around $14.96, and that's where it'll sit until Sunday night. And what did that do for the unsustainable, out-of-whack gold-silver ratio? We actually had a guy unsubscribe because he's tired of hearing about the unsustainable, out-of-whack gold-silver ratio, because you'll see one day, and I told him the channel will never recover from his unpaid unsubscribe. Okay, gold-silver ratio, well, it went down a little bit to about 86.27, still lingering near those all-time highs. Speaking of beating a dead horse or hearing the same story for a decade, how about this? Mike Maloney pulled these winners out. Just going through some old videos. This is from April 2010. Silver 1500. See, the song remains the same here. I don't know how people can believe this for 10 years, but they do. He's so useful and so helpful. Mike Maloney on gold and silver bullion investing. These are facts according to the video. And I will leave a link to these videos in the Smaulgld blog post relating to this. And I'm not doing this to mock him. What I'm doing is I'm showing, and you'll see in a minute, another video we actually mocked me, that there's no shame here. This story, this narrative never changes. Silver is the biggest opportunity I have ever seen, he gushed in this particular video back in 2010. The world is running out of silver. Last I checked, not true. And the 10-to-1 is the logical gold-silver ratio. That's the unsustainable, out-of-whack gold-silver ratio. So logical, but so never happened in the last 150 years. But it's logical. And then there was the predictions that in 1980, it took 1,000 ounces of silver to buy a single-family U.S. home, and pretty soon, it's just going to take less than 500 ounces to buy a house. Who is this guy? All right, that's 2010. In the same year, another video from Mike Maloney. What does he say then? Phase 2 starts today in the longest part of this bull market in silver. Silver is rarer than gold. Yes, indeed. It started back then. Silver is rarer than gold. It's going to be an exciting decade, unlike anything any of us have ever experienced. Yeah. I don't know. It's been a remarkable decade for many reasons. from 2010 until where we are in April 2019, but it has nothing to do with silver skyrocketing and heading to a 10-to-1 logical gold-silver ratio. And then, of course, there was this is the greatest opportunity in the history of mankind. Hyperbole much? This is going to be the greatest wealth transfer in history. Wow. The only transfer that happened looks like the money that people sent in to bullion dealers to buy gold and silver. There they are. If you're interested in scrolling down or trolling down memory lane, I will leave a link to these two videos. You can watch them and marvel at the insight. And in fact, they might as well have been produced today. But my favorite Mike Maloney video was the one called Gold Game Changer. And in that video, and I'll leave a link for that one as well, he was talking about how there was going to be tremendous gold demand generated from the Shanghai Gold Exchange because China was going to force Saudi Arabia to accept yuan, and then Saudi Arabia was going to take the yuan that they had accumulated for the sale of oil and go walking into the Shanghai Gold Exchange and buying gold with it. And that was Gold's Game Changer. And failing that, they were going to take their yuan because they didn't want to hold them and just go on the open market and buy tons of gold. And that was going to be Gold's Game Changer. And in that video, he calls me out and he says, now there's some people out there, they're naysaying, they're saying there's no source to this story. And then he says, you want sources? I'll give you sources. And then he cites a couple of throwaway articles that cite no source. And of course, we all know there's been no Gold Game Changer. There's been no gold back yuan. It was all scheduled to happen, I think. These story came out in September of 2017. By the end of the year, it was going to be a game changer for gold. Never happened. I'll leave you a link to that one. All right, let's leave gold and silver and move on to the markets. A couple of things going on. A bit of a battle now over the Fed. Trump has decided at the Fed, or he's cottoned on, that the Fed controls a good portion of what happens in the economy. Now, for those of you uninitiated into monetary policy versus fiscal policy, don't feel bad because John Kennedy, President John Kennedy, was notorious for not knowing the difference. He used to say, remind me which one we're talking about. Monetary policy. Oh, is that the one with the taxes? No, that's the one with the Fed. Okay. Monetary policy is what the Fed does. Fiscal policy is what Congress does with respect to taxing and spending. Now, Trump realizes that lower taxes can generate economic growth, but he's also realized that low interest rates from the Fed can also generate economic growth. And that's why he's been after the Fed to keep rates low. This is not unusual. Nixon used to browbeat his Fed chairman, Arthur Burns, and Arthur Burns used to complain and grumble. The Fed's supposed to be independent. Powell feels the same way. Now, Powell has addressed a bunch of Democrats and told them, don't worry about it. We're independent. We're going to do what we got to do. Interestingly enough, Herman Cocaine, he's also one of the potential board nominees to the Fed that Trump has put forward along with Stephen Moore. And it doesn't look like he's going to make it. Now, I had thought he might not make it because they might make a big stink over his past sexual harassment charges, but Republicans are saying, four of them are saying they're not going to vote for him. They actually believe he's not qualified to be on the Fed board, which is strange because he was the Kansas City Fed board chairman, and he does have business experience, so he's not adult. And I think they just don't like his monetary policy because he had written an article back in 2012 advocating for the gold standard. Trump's other Fed nominee, Stephen Moore, has advocated for a commodity standard where the Fed would peg the dollar to a bucket of commodities. It wouldn't be a gold standard. He also may not get through, and the Republicans are complaining that Trump doesn't give him the heads up He just makes these announcements. They find out about what he's doing via Twitter. And maybe it's a bit of retribution or payback that a few of them, Mitt Romney is one of them, no surprise, that they are going to give him a hard time on his nominees, that his nominees are no longer going to be slam dunks. All right, let's see what else we have on the Fed. And they're saying now Herman Cain is expected to withdraw from the Fed Reserve Board of Governors consideration. So we'll see who gets in and who Trump nominates, and then who eventually gets confirmed. Over in cryptos, not a big day for crypto stories, but let's take a look. I think it's instructive to see where we are year to date. We've now got the first quarter in the can, so to speak, and we've also got almost 2 weeks worth of pricing for April. And let's take a look first at Bitcoin year to date. There's been some remarkable progress even before the big, the big upswing there at the end of March that you can see on the chart there. Prices were drifting higher, and currently at the moment the Bitcoin price is 5,085, and we opened the year in about the 3,500, 3,600 level, so it's quite a big improvement for Bitcoin. Second largest by market cap cryptocurrency, Ethereum, Seamus's favorite, is now up. I opened the year in the 125 range. It is now at about 165, and during that recent price spring up, rose to 180. The third largest coin, XRP, has been flat, has not participated in the rally. Now, we're going to take a look at the XRP or Ripple chart. You can see it started the year at about 32 cents, and that's where it is right now. It did participate in the rally, but from the low of about 31 cents, it skyrocketed to 37 cents, but it's come back down to 32 cents. So Ripple's somewhat stagnating, and it's lost its position as the number 2 cryptocurrency back to Ethereum. Number 4, or depending on the given day, Litecoin, EOS, and Bcash have been trading places. But Litecoin's held it the most this year since it overtook EOS. Has had a tremendous run. It was at $22 in December, end of November, and it opened the year around $30. It is now at $79, and it reached a high of almost $100. And again, the drifting is higher. You can see it stair-stepping on its way up. Of course, with cryptocurrencies, you have declines as well, but the most recent rise was somewhat parabolic from 60 to 98, 99, depending on which exchange you were looking at, and currently at about 80. And you can see in the chart, looks like it's struggling to consolidate its gains around 80. What else do we have? Let's see. Let's do EOS. Similar chart to, almost identical chart to Litecoin. Comes out of the gate at around $22, $23, $2.20. Goes all the way up to about $6, and right now it's about $5.35. Bcash had gotten clobbered and then rebounded even more than the others. You can see Bcash there, Bitcoin Cash they like to call it. I like to call it Bcash. That opened the year at about 140. It had gotten up to 340, and currently is staggering around at about 283. So big gains for Bcash. And I think we've got, let's take a look at Stellar. Not so good. Again, just similar to Ripple. Opened around 11 cents and is around 11.5 cents right now. Not much movement there. A big winner was BAT, Basic Attention Token. That's the last one we'll look at. And that opened the year around 12, 13 cents. Got as high as 32 cents, almost a triple there. And currently, I think it's at 29 cents or so, 28.5, 29 cents. Now let's move on from cryptos. Remember, tomorrow night is Saturday Night Silver with Smaulgld. There won't be any crypto talk and probably minimal gold talk. There'll be no news talk. We'll just focus on a silver topic. I think it's time to move on to the mug wars. Now, the mug wars started yesterday with a tweet from James Henry Anderson. I got to give you an update here from SD Bullion. And it was a pretty aggressive tweet. It was at Smaulgld. This guy, he says, your mug domination days are numbered. And he threw down the gauntlet mug next to Smaulgld, which was probably a mistake because anyone with any sense of aesthetics would look at the two and say, why? Why is the SD Black Bullion mug? Let's talk real money. I don't know why the Smaulgld mug's days are numbered, but that's how he opened it. So I just want to go through what's going on in this mug war. First of all, Smaulgld has the first mug mover advantage. So I don't know what he's thinking, but it's not just the first mug mover advantage. We have a full line of mugs. We have, unfortunately, we've got many imitators. We have a counterfeit problem in Australia. We're going to get to that. There are dog lovers, cat lovers, people all over the world cherishing their Smaulgld mugs. I mean, even Seamus loves his mug. It's a mug of beer, but he does. Now, we have the initial stable of mugs. The Smaulgld Super Classic on the left, the Smaulgld Classic, the Smaulgld Travel, and the Smaulgld Espresso mug. And remember, there's 18 reasons why you should buy and hoard mugs. Now, they do apply generally to mugs, but they really do apply specifically to Smaulgld mugs. And I urge you to check out 18 reasons why you should buy and hoard mugs. In fact, that is the #1 Google. You will find Smaulgld mugs. You won't find mention of an SD Bullion mug if you Google reasons to buy or 18 reasons to buy and hoard mugs. You don't have to put Smaulgld mugs, just mugs. And a nice video explaining why Smaulgld mugs are the ones to get. Mr. Anderson doesn't quite realize that. Now, the other thing he doesn't realize are not only do we have the stable of mugs that I've shown you, but we've also got Game Changer mugs. This is the Smaulgld Game Changer mug, limited edition. We have the This Guy mug. Many of you remember the genesis of that mug after we talked about the gold-silver ratio on SGT report. A lot of people were offended by what this guy was saying, and that is a very popular seller now, the This Guy mug and the This Guy t-shirts. We also have, as we've mentioned, the Travel mug. It's a very big seller. And besides mugs, dogs go nuts for mugs. Now look at that. You're never going to see a picture of a dog so adorable and so interested in a mug as this dog is. You're not going to see a dog this cute with a SD Bullion black mug. It's just not going to happen. You can stage the picture all you want. Here's Buddy again. Look. We even have glass, Smaulgld glass. There is no SD Bullion glass. Now, they'll come out with glass, and they'll try to copy everything. I'm sure they'll even come out with things like shot glasses like we have. But it's just not the same. It's all copying. But I'm sure you're going to... Maybe you won't. Maybe they'll give it up. They'll realize they're wasting their time. But they're not going to have Smaulgld shot glasses. They're not going to have dogs adoring their mugs. Here's Coco. We've seen Buddy already. Coco. We even have mugs for dogs. Look at that Smaulgld dog mug. And it's, I mean, look at Lucky. Lucky loves his Smaulgld mug. There he is. He doesn't have an SD Bullion mug. I don't expect him other than some stage photo. And of course, you can never have a pug mug with SD Bullion. I don't think there's a dog that rhymes with SD Bullion, but there's pug mug with both the Super Classic and Smaulgld Classic mugs. And of course, cats like them too. There you go. There's Lisa Morning Mayan with her cat and her Smaulgld mug. So SD Bullion, you've got a long way to go before you start throwing threats around about ending Smaulgld mug hegemony. He's already saying end of Smaulgld mug hegemony. Also, I do want to mention that we do have a counterfeit problem. And it all emanates from Australia. Well, let's take a look at what's going on in Australia. Now, it all started back with the first fake Smaulgld mug. And it was explained to me very apologetic. Oh, I don't want to pay for the postage down here. Okay, so I made my own. Yeah, okay, well, there it is. Very poor attempt, but then they started to proliferate. Pictures of mugs with kangaroos, and then when this guy mug came out, well, we had knockoffs as well. Smaulgld, this guy mug, smudged, really cheap imitations. I let it slide, and then we had this one. I think this is done a little better, but this is a direct copy. I mean, all they did was copy. In fact, that looks like, I don't know how they did that, but that is not a hand-drawn version of Smaulgld. They must have copied it off the website or something. Total violation of intellectual property. They get the steers involved in it there. It's rampant. But again, no one will ever bother to make a fake unless you're just a degenerate counterfeiter would ever bother to make a SD Bullion mug. Or as Mark Dice would say, oh wait, what's this? Someone did. I think that was just more done because the person is a degenerate counterfeiter and he's made a SD Bullion Let's Talk Real Money mug. Looks ugly there too, so not quite sure what they expect to get out of mug sales. I'm almost tempted to start a bullion dealing business and sell mini mintages of Smaulgld. No, why? Screw that. Why do mini mintages? I'll do full-on bullion Smaulgld product line and put Sunshine Minting and SD Bullion out of business. Just make Smaulgld rounds. Maybe even make planchets for the U.S. Mint so they can keep up with the Silver Eagle demand that they have there. Well, there you go. Now I just want to show you, we did have, just to update you in the mug wars here, let's see, waiting for them to do a beer glass. It's not going to happen. No one would buy them. Those are another big seller, the Smaulgld glass. But I do want to show you the polls we've done so far. It's not looking good for SD Bullion. Which do you prefer? And I was generous. I actually gave a choice to people. Love them both. I should have just gone straight up with, do you like the Smaulgld Super Classic or do you like the SD Bullion mug? You could pretty much tell a lot of people were just being charitable, and rather than just saying, yeah, I like the Smaulgld Super Classic mug, they said I like them both. I think I even voted love them both. Just, you know, it's nice to see somebody. As I say, imitation is the sincerest form of mockery. I mean, flattery. And there it is. So the SD Bullion mug, that must be James Henry Anderson's vote that got SD Bullion on the chart there. So I'll show them to you one more time. I mean, this is their best offering. Maybe they'll improve. You know, this is their first attempt. But I'm not impressed. Not impressed. Anyway, if you're interested in Smaulgld mugs, I'll leave you some links. Obviously, many of you are mug stackers. You may want the Game Changer mug. Many of you have more than one mug. Many of you have dog mugs for your pets. You have a classic and a super classic. You are mug stackers. I don't think the SD Bullion crowd, and some of you are SD Bullion customers. Nothing wrong with that. But I'm not sure that you're going to start stacking SD Bullion mugs. But again, I say it is a validation of the space if you do. So if you're interested, have at it. I may even acquire one myself just to see what's going on in the competition. let's do Moronica now. Let us do... Well, no, before we do Moronica, I do want to tell you about this new opportunity at DLive and DTube. The other day, as you know, a lot of people have problems with YouTube, and they blame some of their life's problems on YouTube. And I understand some people, they make a living off of this. They feel like they're being hosed by YouTube. They don't like the algorithm. Some people actually get booted off of YouTube. That is a problem. There are a lot of problems with centralization when YouTube is the only place you can go to either watch videos or to produce videos and have them watched. So I do understand that. I am mocking it. But what I'm saying is, it is not a good thing, even if YouTube was more even-handed, to have just one place to go. It's never a good thing, no matter how good that monopoly is. And we've seen that YouTube hasn't been exactly... They have thrown people off. I'm not quite sure if when they demonetize somebody, whether they're really hosing somebody, because if an advertiser doesn't want to hear about Game Over and Game Changer and Flat Earth, then, produce content that someone maybe wants to monetize. But I do have an issue when they just boot people off. But YouTube doesn't owe you a living. They don't even owe you the platform. But I do have a problem with them booting people off the platform or hiding their content. Or what I don't like also is when they put up, like if you talk about global warming, they put up their own little link on there with a blurb explaining to you why what you're going to watch now that's against global warming is a bunch of BS, because they take a position by putting those types of warnings on the video. So I do have a problem with it, but I think there should be an alternative. And PewDiePie, who is the largest YouTuber, is leaving. I don't know if he's leaving YouTube, but he's going to be on this channel. He has, they say he's worth $30 to $50 million just for acting foolish while he's watching video games. I think that's quite an achievement. Well, apparently he's moving over to DTube and DLive, and I'd like to be there when this all starts. And in order to get access to the transcoding service, you have to have at least 200 to be a verified partner, 200 followers. And I started asking people today to join. Earlier in the day at 4. I think I'm up to 8 or 9. So if you're interested in supporting Smaulgld and eventually perhaps moving over to that platform, please sign up over there. I'll give you the link here. It is a... let me just find it. It is... what's it called? DLive and Smaulgld. It's a bit tricky to sign up for. I think it takes you a few minutes. I'm not saying it's worth it, but I would give it a shot. So I'll leave the link there. It'll be on the Smaulgld site tomorrow as well. All right, let's move on to some people's favorite part of the show. Uh-oh, we got a moron here.
Presenting the distinguished international news commentator and foreign correspondent,
Smaulgld. This has been an extraordinary week in world affairs.
No, I told Hillary Clinton that that's moronic.
All right, so we have two statements, and we've done a poll on this. One's coming from James Comey, and the other coming from Donald Trump. And on their face, they're both very moronic statements. Very, very. I'm going to play both of them for you. Then I'm going to show you the results of the poll. Then I'm going to give you my point of view on which one is more moronic. And then we're going to ask you in the comments. All right, so the first moronic comes from James Comey. And let me play for you what James Comey said about Attorney General Barr's testimony the other day, where he said he was concerned that there was spying on the Trump campaign. And here is what Mr. Comey had to say about that.
I really don't know what he's talking about when he talks about spying on the campaign. It's concerning because The FBI and the Department of Justice conduct court-ordered electronic surveillance. I have never thought of that as spying.
So he's never thought of when you wiretap or electronically surveil an entity or a person, that is spying. And I'm sorry, I don't know any other way of looking at it, and I'm going to try to go through how he might not be moronic in saying that. I don't understand how surveillance, whether it's court-ordered or not, is not spying. And maybe he's saying when the FBI does it, it's not spying, or if it's legal, it's not spying. I don't know. But I think he was sounding like the Trump campaign wasn't spied on, and that's what the FISA warrant was about, was so that they could spy. And again, it's like I never thought of stupidity as moronic, or I never thought of waterboarding as torture. I mean, there's so many ways. So I actually think that that is a very, very moronic statement. But some people think that Donald Trump trumped him today with his comments on WikiLeaks. Now we're going to play what he said about WikiLeaks, and then I'm going to tell you what I think about both comments. So let's have a listen to Donald J. Trump on WikiLeaks today after Julian Assange was arrested. Maybe he said this yesterday. They asked him what he thought about it, and here is what Donald J. Trump had to say about WikiLeaks.
Do you still love WikiLeaks?
I know nothing about WikiLeaks. It's not my thing.
WikiLeaks! I love WikiLeaks. Looks like Bernie got a little bit of a bad deal based on WikiLeaks, right?
They want to distract us from WikiLeaks. It's been amazing what's coming out on WikiLeaks.
And all you have to do is take a look at WikiLeaks and just see what they said about Bernie Sanders.
Even Chelsea Clinton, the WikiLeaks email show, expressed...
So, Donald Trump's statement is, well, at the very beginning, they ask him, what about WikiLeaks? Do you still like WikiLeaks? And here's what he says.
Do you still love WikiLeaks?
I know nothing about WikiLeaks. It's not my thing.
I know nothing about WikiLeaks. Not my thing. Not my bag, man. All right. Now, we took a poll, and we asked which of the two statements is the most moronic. And let's see what you guys said on Twitter and what you said on YouTube. No, actually, I didn't do the Twitter. I only managed to get the poll done for YouTube. Here are the results. Which statement is more moronic? James Comey, electronic surveillance is not spying, or Donald Trump, I know nothing about WikiLeaks, it's not my thing. Well, James Comey won by over a 2/3 margin with his electronic surveillance is not spying, and I happen to agree with that. That statement is just false, and there's no other way you can analyze that statement. That is exactly what spying is. It's electronic surveillance. And we know the motivation for saying that is we didn't spy on the Trump campaign, because he knows if he spied on the Trump campaign, he's in hot water. So what he's saying is, well, it was electronic surveillance, but it was court ordered. So it's the intention is not moronic, and James Comey is not a moron. But what he's trying to do, he's trying to convince people, I guess, that we're morons, and we're going to say, yeah, there was no spying. It was electronic surveillance, and it was court ordered, and therefore it's not spying. Now, Trump's statement appears, when you first hear it, to be even more moronic than James Comey, because it's obvious that Donald Trump knows something about WikiLeaks. He couldn't have been talking about it. I think they have like 190 or whatever number of references he made to WikiLeaks during the campaign. So obviously he knows something about WikiLeaks. But the reason I went with James Comey's statement is what Donald Trump's motive in this also is similar to James Comey, was to avoid having to be connected with Julian Assange in the collection of the materials that were disseminated that helped him win. Because WikiLeaks did help him win, because there was a lot of damaging emails about the DNC, about Hillary Clinton, Podesta, and so on. So what he was saying, I'm not defending the statement, but what he was saying was, I assume I know nothing about the origin of WikiLeaks, about Julian Assange. I'm not connected with WikiLeaks. So I think it was an it's still moronic, but I think it was an inartful way of saying that he knows nothing about. But then he said, which kind of undercuts what I just said, it's not my thing. Oh no, it was your thing. You were saying WikiLeaks, WikiLeaks. So I did have to vote for James Comey. Two moronic statements, but I would give it the nod to James Comey. We'll get your comments in the chat bar in a few seconds. Now the next one, I hope, I might have to chase it down. Let me just see if I do have it. It looks like I'm going to have to go search for it. I'll find it right away. I'll find it for you right now. This one is not moronic, but it is a very unique way of explaining. It was a very unique way of explaining how the economy is doing. I've never quite heard it this way. And as I mentioned in this, I believe that this one will be studied by economists for the longest time. Let me see if I can pull it up for you here. And it's one of these little 8-9 second clips that you really, here it is, you want to hear more than once. I mean, this one is, this is the finance minister of Uganda, the Ugandan Minister of Finance. And they asked him what the story was with the economy. How's the economy doing? And let me get it, as I'm playing you the clip, I'm going to take a screenshot of this guy because you could just imagine him delivering this. I wish I had the full clip. This is the only clip that they have here. Other than the 8 seconds here, is I just want to see like how he follows up on this command performance, actually. The Ugandan finance minister explaining how the economy is doing, and he's trying to get across the point that the economy is going gangbusters. I mean, it is just the best economy he's ever seen. And well, let's have a listen to, let's see, Ugandan finance minister, and this will be in the show notes tomorrow on the Smaulgld website. So here we go.
Economy is, I want to assure you people and assure the country, the economy is now on. I want to.
I'll play it again. See if you can pick up the language.
I want to assure you people and assure the country, the economy is now on.
I want to assure you people, the economy is now on. And he does the old rocket. So I'm going to save that one. I think that is, in and of itself, a meme. The Ugandan Minister of Finance doesn't have time for GDP numbers, unemployment numbers. The economy is on. There it is. Not Veronica, but I thought that was an enjoyable thing. Now let's talk about, let me show you, you might want to see what he looks like here. Here he is, the Ugandan finance minister. There he is. Economists will be studying this speech forever. Maybe that was all he said. It's this, whoever posted this said this was the world's shortest speech by a finance minister on the state of the economy. And again, he said that the economy was, let's hear it again. It is definitely worth studying and watching the hand gestures, and it's really a great depiction of the Ugandan economy and where it sits. Wish I knew his name. His name is Matita Kalala. There he is. Well, it's not playing right now. All right. Let's talk about trolling. What I started to realize today in this sanctuary city announcement. Let's step back. You might not know what happened today. A story was published, anonymous sources or whatever. It was either the Washington Post or New York Times, that Trump had this wacky idea. They had actually discussed this ridiculous idea that the United States Department of Homeland Security was going to send illegal aliens, migrants, undocumented workers, whatever you want to call them, to sanctuary cities. And the idea of the article was, look, we just found out the lunacy that occurs in the Trump administration, the way they act, the way they operate. And immediately, spokespeople for the Trump administration came out and said, no, we discussed it. They didn't flat out deny it, but no, we're not doing that. Well, the troller-in-chief came out and said, oh, no, hold on. Due to the fact that the Democrats are unwilling to change our very dangerous immigration laws, we are indeed, as reported, not fake news, giving strong consideration to placing illegal immigrants in sanctuary cities only. Now, that is a classic troll. And what a troll does is it makes the target act in a predictable way. And I was thinking, a good example of trolling is what they did to Sonny in Godfather 1. Sonny was a known hothead. If you wanted to push his buttons, not being a button man, you just wanted to rile him up, you wanted to troll Sonny, you would have someone commit a crime against his sister. And that's exactly what they did. If you remember in Godfather 1, the husband is told to put a beating on his wife, and which he didn't need to be told to do that because he was doing it all the time, and Sonny knew it, and it infuriated Sonny. But this time he went into full act mode because he was working with the opposing gang, and he went and he beat his wife, and Sonny's sister calls him up crying that Carlo, the turncoat in the family, had beaten her. And of course, they knew the first thing Sonny was going to do was lose his brain, get in a car, and drive out there and throw another beating on Carlo, or maybe even kill him. Well, they knew he was going to do that. They trolled him. And it's a nasty troll, but he gets to on the Long Island Expressway, the tolls, and they're waiting for him, and they shoot him. So what the opposing gang did with Carlo was they used Carlo to troll Sonny because they get a predictable reaction. Now, what Trump did here, in most cases, what would happen is this news report would come out. Trump is like doing this ridiculous concept of thinking about sending migrants to sanctuary cities. And now we've got them. Now it's going to leak. It's going to be embarrassing. People are going to fumble over themselves and say, oh, no, we just talked about it. They're embarrassed that they even talked about it, maybe. What does Trump do? He doesn't say fake news. He comes right out and he trolls. And the amazing thing about the troll is he knows their reaction is going to be to oppose him. But actually, he knows that by opposing him, they're actually contradicting themselves, because sanctuary cities claim that sanctuary cities are good because they have given sanctuary to illegal aliens. They've given sanctuary to migrants. They've given sanctuary to undocumented workers. They've given sanctuary to wonderful people who are just looking for a good life, but somehow they're not illegal. They commit crimes at lower rates than the regular population. They add to the wonderful mosaic and diversity of our city, all of that. So if they actually believe that, they wouldn't oppose Trump. They'd say, well, thank you. It's much better than this inhumane way of holding people for 20 days, or catch and release, or sending the poor people back. Please send them our way. Well, that has not been the reaction. The immediate reaction has been, how dare you? You're not sending those people here. If you send them here, we can't take care of them. You're using these people as a shield. This is atrocious. Well, let's hear what the mayor of Oakland had to say. And he's trolling them because he's getting them to say that we don't want the illegal aliens. We don't want the undocumented workers. We don't want all of these wonderful migrants that add to our city. Here's what the mayor of Oakland had to say. Let's have a listen here. Now, oh, by the way, Oakland is a sanctuary city. And supposedly, if they can't find a home somewhere else, well, this is Oakland. We're a sanctuary city. Please send these people because we need them here. Here's what she has to say. Give it a play. She's on CNN, but she's mad. It's an outrageous abuse of power, she says, when really, this is the troll part of it is, she should be saying this is a gift. Thank you, President Trump. You've come up with a solution. We have this problem, and Oakland is more than willing to take them.
President planning to bus immigrant detainees to cities. To reaction to this report, the president planning to bus immigrant detainees to cities like yours.
This is an outrageous abuse of power and public resources. The idea that the administration thought in any way that it would be acceptable to use families and children, human beings, as political retribution against their enemies should...
How is it political retribution to send people to a city that wants to have people in their city that are undocumented, that want to have people to come to their city to seek sanctuary? See, he trolled them into saying this.
Infuriate every American, regardless of political affiliation. And
that was the purpose of the leak. The leak was to infuriate everyone that Trump was actually thinking of doing this. So instead of apologizing and saying fake news, he says, yeah, we're still thinking about that. He hasn't done it, but he's getting this reaction. He's trolling this reaction out of this mayor, and many people are taking this point of view today.
Am proud to be the mayor of a sanctuary city. We believe sanctuary cities are safer cities. We embrace the diversity in Oakland.
Then take some more.
And we do not think it's appropriate for us to use local resources to do the government's favor.
Ah, so someone else has to pay for your diversity. You're not going to pay for it. You want the federal government to pay for it. But the problem with that argument is, and there's nothing wrong, if you want to believe sanctuary cities, but the federal law says you can't have them, then you're acting like you want to leave the union. You don't want to obey the federal law. And that's fine. There's ways of pulling out of the union if you want not to be part and not apply apply the U.S. rules. There's ways you can't have it both ways. Now, with respect to things like the drug laws, you could take the argument, and many states have done this. They've tried to override the federal laws. And they could argue it's not constitutional, that the federal government doesn't have the right to have a national law. But in this case, there's no argument that if the federal government has an immigration policy, which sets who can and cannot be in the country, and if they decide someone can't be in the country, then the fact that there's a sanctuary city and saying, no, we're not gonna turn them in, we're not gonna help, they're actually a rebel city. And that's what I don't understand, why they take this position. And I'm not sure why you'd want to have a sanctuary city, but not want to fund it yourself. Because if immigrants provide this wonderful diversity and wonderful mosaic, and it's safer now, and it's better and more wonderful, then you don't need federal resources. Bring them on. So again, what's happening here is a massive troll. I want to see what you guys think. I don't think he's going to do it, but I do think it's very interesting. You've never seen this type of... It is disruptive because politics is normally done in a very narrow confines. It's actually revolutionary to actually even suggest something like this, because if you think about it, the typical response would be, sanctuary cities, you're doing something wrong, and the feds are going to go in there and they're going to stop you from being a sanctuary city, and we're going to cut off your funding. That's the typical reaction. And then the sanctuary cities could sue and say it's not you can't cut off funding. we're entitled to do this, we've got a beef with you. That'd be the normal battle. But instead, the troll, which is outside of the box, is, oh, okay, we're going to break our own rules. We're going to send them to you, which would be breaking. It would be like the United States is deciding they're recognizing sanctuary cities, and they're going to help them be sanctuary cities by sending them migrants that they can't have. They can't hold more than 20 days. All right, let's see what you guys are saying, thinking, and so on over in the comments. Coins A to Z. Mug wars. Yes, we're having mug wars. Ann Holloman says, it is a pattern I noticed that can't be denied. The tubes with the most valuable information have low views and relatively low subscribers. Well, that's probably true. It's also true that most people operate subconsciously at an emotional level and are easily triggered. Well, that is definitely true. We're just talking about trolling. Thus, they unconsciously follow, which gives them holism. Well, that's true, too. Hopism, yes. Yes, it is factual. If you ask people whether they drive their opinions or their actions on emotion or logic, I'd say 80-90% of people would say logic. It's not true. Most decisions are made on emotion or emotion combined with logic. Okay, let's see what you got. Mug wars, trade wars. Lewis, the new tariff guy, says Pablo. DB stupid. Doing office work, just listening to Lewis. Isn't that fun? Philip McCain with the comment of the evening. Silver is shiny. Ann says, and bright. It's supposed to be a smart group, isn't it? All right, what else do we have tonight in the comments? Pablo Pena. Mike Maloney looks like he's broadening his diversification with Bitcoin. Well, you see, once you are, I'm not saying this about Mike, but if you're a pumper, you can pump anything. I mean, you could be gold, silver, Bitcoin, Litecoin, whatever it is. Shemitah's coming. It's the hurry, step right up and get your fill in the blank. I mean, pumping is a business. And a lot of pumping is emotion. If you think about when I show you the statistics on silver, that's not the best way to sell silver. Best way to sell silver is rarer than gold. We are running out of silver. Silver is so useful in our lives. That is what gets people. Because it's generalities and you can apply your own emotion to it and like, yeah, and then they're going to make all these electronics and it's so great because everyone uses electronics. No one wants to hear, well, here's exactly how much silver they're going to use for electronics and it's actually going down. That's a buzzkill. They want to feel like they know something and they're behind something and they're going to buy their silver and they're going to do their part and then it's going to go skyrocketing and then they get to say, you'll see. That's another emotional part of the you'll see. I've believed this narrative for 10 years and you'll see. Silver is rarer than gold. Central banks are buying gold. That is all I need to know. JP Morgan is buying gold. Yeah, okay. Mabel Hedgehog. Smaulgld or anyone that deals with cryptos, is it a good idea to get a hard wallet? Does it make sense for securitizing your cryptos? I was going to impulse buy the Treasure Model Z. From what I understand, that is a good idea. It's not an impulse to have a hardware wallet. The crypto people will tell you, do not leave the coins on exchanges. To have some type of custodial arrangement that is off of the exchanges, whether it's a paper wallet, a hardware wallet, or even availing yourself to the security. I think Coinbase has it. You can put the coins in a vault, so it takes like 36 hours to get them out, so you can determine some type of a hack. But I'm not fully aware of all the different ways to secure the... But again, leaving them on exchanges, they say, is not the smartest thing to do. Philip McCain, can you do a 999 silver mug? I'd like to, but I don't know. I'm having trouble. I got to get somebody to make the Smaulgld rounds for me. I got to design a nice one. I want to have a mug on it. I want to have Game Changer on it. Want to have the Smaulgld logo on it. I don't want it to be too busy, but I haven't had time to make a design. Then I got to get somebody to make the Smaulgld rounds. Then I go toe to toe with SD Bullion. All right. DW, no one seems to vote for anyone who supports the gold standard. That's right. Okay. I'm looking for comments here. I don't want to just look for comments with my name in it, because sometimes you guys do say some interesting things, and I do want to call them out. But here's one. DW, I own a Smaulgld mug, but I will never have an SD Bullion mug. Yeah, I mean, your next mug should be another Smaulgld mug, not an SD Bullion mug. I mean, if you're going to stack mugs, you want to stack the best. Missing the Maneko 64 mug, get the Try mugs. DB Stupid, Smaulgld, don't forget the pet bowls. Nope, we got the Smaulgld pet bowls or pet mugs. Maple Hedgehog, Smaulgld is a better marketing campaign, heads down. Pablo was picturing the In the Fed mug. Andrew says, I'm using my Game Changer mug right now. LOL, this guy. All right, Shark Air, I had a choice. 40 ounces of silver or a guitar. Which one did I choose? 40 ounces of silver. How much is that? What kind of guitar is the better question? You know, I think a guitar, like a good guitar, I don't know if they go down in value. I'm not sure what the... But let's see, 40 ounces. So $600, you can get yourself an okay guitar for that price. I don't know what you did, Shark Arrow. Waiting for you got the guitar. There's the answer. Pablo says his Game Changer mug is empty. He's going to go and refill it. His Smaulgld Game Changer mug. DW, SD Bullion mugs are for pumpers. Smaulgld mugs are for truth seekers. I like that. Very nice. Shark Air, I can sell the guitar for more than I paid for it, at least break even. The silver, I'd be underwater for perhaps a long time. Jack says, bought some Litecoin today. Interesting. Pablo says, Jack, you didn't ask us first. Jack says, it's the silver of the crypto world. Ha ha. You know my view on Bitcoin and Litecoin. This has nothing to do with whether I'm for or against Bitcoin or Litecoin. I think it's foolish to say that they're gold and silver digitally. Bitcoin relies on so many inputs. It relies on mining, hash rates. It relies on the system operating, the blockchain working, there being interest in it, there being electricity, there being an on-ramp to get onto the internet or onto the satellite or the ham radio, whatever it is. You don't hold the Bitcoin. The gold is already done. It's formed. It requires no other inputs. Bitcoin requires a tremendous number of inputs. Bitcoin could go away one day. The gold's not going away. So they're not the same. That doesn't mean that Bitcoin doesn't have its own attributes and values. It's just that when people try to say it's digital gold, it's not. It's not even close. Pablo's doing the Litecoin to mug ratio. It's true. One Litecoin equals 3.5 mugs. At one point, one mug was worth one Litecoin when it was $22 earlier in the year. All right. Okay, Maple Hedgehog has got an Amazon link here that is not being shown, and it says Amazon Bew mug. Now, what is a Bew mug? Funny mug. The dog father. That's pretty funny. Yeah. Maple Hedgehog, I wonder if I can get a Bitcoin mug. All right. Rad Vadley says, you can put vodka in the Smaulgld mug to make it look more appealing, said every alcoholic. Well, we've got pictures of the Smaulgld mugs with beer in them. Okay, why buy a mug when you can hodl Bitcoin? Rad doesn't understand the purpose of this channel. The purpose of this channel has nothing to do with providing information. It's all about selling mugs. So your comment is not appreciated. It's unless you're asking it rhetorical, like, yeah, why buy a mug when you can hodl Bitcoin? Mugs are real wealth. DB Stupid says, mugs remind me of crypto. There'll soon be more mugs than coffee drinkers soon. All right. He's into crypto. Okay, DB Stupid's letting me know he's heading out. He's hitting the road. Day over. Game over. Oh, you need the link to DLive. Let me give you the DLive link. So you can sign up for DLive Smaulgld. There it is. Also, if you're interested in helping the site out, I always show you see it there on the screen, how to help Smaulgld out, send in Bitcoin, Litecoin, Patreon. We also have Subscribestar. But also, if you want to buy precious metals from SD Bullion, there's a link. There's still some specials going on over there. I'll leave you the link for that too. They're selling junk silver right now. I think for, this will get you to the front page. I think for like 39 cents over spot, which is a good deal for junk silver if you're interested in that. They still have that Austrian one free silver Philharmonic. I'll leave you the link for that too. There you go, SD Bullion. All right, the halving is coming on. We know about that. And Litecoin next year for Bitcoin. All right, what else? Pablo says Trump is more moronic than Comey. I disagree on that one, but I mean, when you're talking about levels of stupidity, it doesn't really matter. But I thought that you can defend Trump's. You cannot semantically defend what Comey said. Ann says Litecoin is on a bull run now. Do you mean in general or at the very moment? I guess you mean in general because it looks like it's down since we opened the show. All right. Buy Steam. Okay. Jack says Pablo. Wait a minute. There we go. Oh, the lot here. Way behind. Oh, there's so many comments here. I'm sorry. Jack is a Smaulgld mug, so his IQ has been rising. All right. I'm going to go down to where I see my name again. Okay. Precious metals update. I like the SD Bullion mug, but I prefer the Smaulgld mug. That seems to be the consensus, I would imagine. Andrew says, Smaulgld, idea, put your QR codes on the mugs, man. Well, actually, Roger did that on his fake Smaulgld mug. He did put the QR codes on there. But you know what? That's pretty smart, because if everyone in their house had the Smaulgld mug and it had the QR code, they can just donate right then and there. But you can do that right now while you're watching, because I got the QR codes up on the screen. Precious Metals update says there's a lot of pumpers. That's why I listen to Smaulgld. Coins AZ. Smaulgld, in your view, what's the difference between money and currency? Money includes, to me, the definition of currency. Currency is something that you use to trade, medium of exchange, divisible, durable. Something can be currency and not money. I say something cannot be money unless it has a active currency feature. So I call gold and silver definitely dormant money, meaning that it doesn't operate as a medium of exchange, doesn't operate as a currency, although it could. But the reason people don't use silver as a currency, and therefore I say it's not even money because it doesn't have the currency point or the currency attributes, because not only has it been demonetized as a legal matter, but even privately, people don't really use silver in day-to-day transactions. And therefore, silver is just an expensive, rare, precious metal that has valuable attributes and could serve as money again, or could serve as a currency again, in the event that the digital world didn't work. This has nothing to do with cryptocurrencies. The reason gold and silver were chosen as money and currency was because they were the best way to transact. But digital is an easier way to transact. Doesn't mean it's better, or that the digital dollar is a better store of value, or it has more attributes. No, it just means it's easier, and in your own life, it's obvious that it's easier to transact not in cash. Certainly not in rolls of quarters, and certainly not in gold coins. Gold coins are hard to transact in, except for the most expensive items. And even silver is hard to transact in. No one accepts it. Okay, what else do we got? Precious metals update. Precious metals is a long-term store of value, not a get-rich-quick scheme. I agree with that. I will listen to pumper channels, but I take a grain of salt. Well, we just saw the Mike Maloney thing, 10 years. This is the greatest wealth transfer is going to happen this decade. We're going to see something we never saw. I mean, that's not true. That never happened. Never revisit those. I used to say some stuff. I used to I never made the ridiculous predictions, but I've always updated my thinking. I've always when the predictions don't happen, you have to self-reflect and say, why didn't they happen? You don't just keep holding on and insisting that you're still right. Now, the reason they insist they're still right, it's a good narrative. They make money off of selling newsletters and precious metal, so why change it if people still want to believe it? Hope springs eternal. And so they continue to sell that. All right, Coins AZ. Didn't used to be a Silver Stacker forum member at one time? No. I used to belong, I'm trying to think what affiliations I used to, I wasn't really in a lot of forums, but I was never in Silver Stacker forum. I was on the the Daily Poll? Was that what it was called? Back in 2010, 11. And there was another one called Patrick Neck, but I was never on the Silver Stacker forum. Mostly now I'm just on Smaulgld and here. All right. All right, well, you guys can continue. I'll leave the chat open for another couple of minutes, but I am going to sign off, so I want to thank you very much for joining. Remember, tomorrow night is Saturday Night Silver with Smaulgld. So if you got any questions about silver or any ideas for topics, shoot them along or put them in the thing here, the chat bar here, and I will see you guys tomorrow night. Oh, I just want to let you know again, if you use the word retarded, it gets held for review. And so Rad wrote, multi-coiners think we're going back to the barter system. You'll get wrecked with these retarded views. That is a bad word in YouTube. And calling someone that, I understand. But saying it's a retarded view, or that if you use penicillin, it will retard the growth of bacteria. There's nothing wrong with that. So I don't like when they monitor it like that. I don't think that word in every occasion is a bad it's a bad word. And come on. All right. Have a good night. Yeah, YouTube does have a chat. And in fact, Andrew, if you sign up, one of the things I'm thinking of doing is leaving my Smaulgld right now. Headmaster Wharton just joined. Yeah. It actually, I can leave open the Smaulgld channel, and if you're signed up, you can actually send messages, and there's like, what you have going right now in the chat, you guys can actually go there, and it's just on. So if you want, I don't even have to be commenting or even paying attention. I can just open this, and you guys can chat over there, it looks like. So that's just something to think about once you sign up. Let me see how many, I'll give you an update right now, how many partners I've got. We're at 8 now. I need 200 before I can become a verified partner on DLive and start live streaming. And even then, you get prioritized transcoding. Right now, they just have to like grant me an opening, and somehow I just have to start live streaming. I'm not going to do that. But if I have prioritized, that'd be good. But once you become a global partner, you get guaranteed. So it'd be nice if everyone, if I got, the 4,000 people I have here, got half of them over here, then we could have I think a much better experience probably over here, but we'll see how it goes. Exactly, says Rad. And how do we support you? Who are you talking to? Is there a link? Link for... Anne's asking, is there a link? Yeah, that's right, Pablo. I think you can probably say tart. DLive. Yes, I guess you have to set up a whole account on DTube to join your page there. I think that's right. Oh, how do I get viewers? Yeah, I think what you can do... Actually, what would be nice is if... What I realized... One other reason why the channel doesn't do as well as it could is a lot of you used to visit all the pumper channels, and now you don't do it anymore. So no one is at the pumper channels saying, oh, well, I disagree with that because of this, because what we're saying over on Smaulgld, no one is doing that because you don't even bother going over there. So there is no promotion. It's almost like you found this channel and you stick with this one and a few others, but you're not part of the pumper community, so you're not talking to those people. All right. Yes, precious metals had trouble signing up. Yeah, it is a problem over there. Signing up, but you know what's good, if we get a good number and we're there at the beginning and other content providers aren't there, then we might get more traffic, and that's another reason that a lot of the channels have a lot more. They started earlier and they gained traction early, so it's a possibility to go there. Precious metals update. I want Smaulgld to debate the pumpers. I don't know if there's a debate there. Coins AZ, I'm from Queens. All right, guys. Yeah, maybe try out. I don't know if the chat looks like it just stays open as long as I'm open, and you guys, if you want to carry on chatting with each other, you can do that over there. All right, I'll leave you the link again, and then I will bid you to good night until tomorrow.